You are dealing with the oddity of time travel with the greatest of ease.
We've got plenty of time, but we don't have any more room left. Ted!
Don't be dead, dude.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 1989, directed by Stephen Herek, became an unexpected comedy classic. Starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter as two slacker friends who travel through time in a phone booth, the film was a surprise hit that launched a franchise and turned Bill and Ted into cult icons. Behind the goofy jokes and wild historical hijinks, the making of the movie was packed with unusual choices, surprising stories, and fun details that fans might not know. Here are 20 weird facts you didn't know about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989. Number 1. Bill and Ted were born in an improv class. Before they were time traveling through history, Bill and Ted were just two goofy characters dreamed up during improv sessions. Writers Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon met in a comedy workshop and started riffing as a pair of clueless but optimistic teenagers. The characters made their classmates laugh so much that the duo kept developing them, eventually performing Bill and Ted sketches at clubs and small comedy shows.
Stepmom, get on our show. I don't know, Bill. How did your former stepmom get on our show?
Their rambling, half-baked conversations and eternal optimism struck a chord, and soon Matheson and Solomon realized the characters had potential for something bigger. From there, they began shaping an actual script, turning their improv creations into the central figures of what would become Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. In many ways, the movie's free-spirited humor can be traced directly back to its improv roots.
I'm the Earl of Preston.
And I am the Duke of Ted.
Number 2. It was almost Bill, Ted, and Bob. When Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon first started writing their script, Bill and Ted weren't meant to be a duo. They were supposed to be a trio. The earliest draft featured a third friend named Bob, who tagged along on their adventures. But as the script developed, it became clear that Bob didn't really add much to the story. Bill and Ted's dynamic worked best as a two-person act, with their chemistry bouncing back and forth without a third wheel. So Bob was dropped, and the film embraced the oddball buddy energy that made it so memorable. Looking back, it's hard to imagine the movie as anything but Bill and Ted's show. Bob would have totally ruined the excellent balance.
Yeah, good. What did he say? Welcome to the Hall of Presidents.
Number 3. Bill wanted to be Ted, and Ted wanted to be Bill. When Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter were first cast, they each thought they should be playing the other role. Reeves, originally lined up for Bill, felt more connected to Ted's laid-back vibe, while Winter thought Ted was the better fit for him. After a bit of switching around during auditions and rehearsals, the filmmakers realized the actor's instincts were right. Reeves was reassigned to Ted, and Winter took on Bill, locking in the chemistry that would define the duo. The switch turned out to be a blessing. Reeves and Winter embodied their characters so naturally that it's now impossible to imagine them any other way. Their performances helped turn Bill and Ted into one of cinema's most iconic comedy pairings.
I'm the Earl of Preston.
And I am the Duke of Ted.
Number 4. Pauly Shore wanted to play Ted. Before Keanu Reeves secured the role that would help launch his career, plenty of other young actors were considered for Ted. Among them was Pauly Shore, who was just starting to break into the comedy scene in the late 80s. Shore auditioned for the part and lobbied hard to play the laid-back, dim-witted teen, but ultimately, the filmmakers felt Keanu Reeves was a better fit. Shore would later find fame with his own brand of quirky comedy in movies like Encino Man and Biodome, but it's wild to imagine him stepping into the time-traveling phone booth. If things had gone differently, Ted might have had a totally different, Weasel-style energy.
Bill and Ted's was my first audition ever. So if you go online and you Google Pauly Shore audition.
Number 5. No, Biodome isn't the secret Bill and Ted threequel. Over the years, some fans have joked, or even genuinely wondered, if Pauly Shore's 1996 comedy Biodome was secretly tied to the Bill and Ted universe. After all, it features two goofy slackers stumbling through absurd situations, and its humor feels like it could have come from the same playbook. But the truth is, Biodome has no connection to Bill and Ted.
Excuse me, miss, are you tired?
No, why?
Because you've been running through my mind all day?
Despite the similarities. In fact, the confusion is partly fueled by Shore originally auditioning for Ted years earlier, which makes the comparisons inevitable. The real third entry in the series didn't arrive until decades later, when Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter reunited for Bill and Ted Face the Music in 2020.
Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves.
And I'm Alex Winter, but you also know us as
Bill and Ted.
If you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome movie facts. And tell us in the comments, what movie brings you the most nostalgia, and which one should we cover next? Number 6. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter weren't nerdy enough at first. When Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter were first cast as Ted and Bill, the filmmakers weren't entirely convinced. The original vision for the characters leaned even more toward stereotypical nerds, awkward, goofy, and socially clueless. Reeves and Winter, while funny and energetic, didn't quite fit that mold during their auditions. But once they started playing off each other, it became clear that their chemistry was the real magic. Instead of being pure nerds, Bill and Ted became lovable slackers with their own strange logic and charm. That subtle shift gave the characters broader appeal, turning them into icons rather than caricatures. The studio's early doubts disappeared once Reeves and Winter delivered their excellent, now classic performances.
Ted, you forgot to wind your watch again. And after you reminded yourself not to.
Number 7. George Carlin's casting was a happy accident. Rufus, the wise time traveler who guides Bill and Ted, was almost played by someone entirely different. The role had been offered to several actors before landing in the lap of comedian George Carlin. At the time, Carlin was best known for his sharp, irreverent stand-up, not for acting in mainstream Hollywood comedies. The producers hadn't originally thought of him, but when his name came up, everyone realized his laid-back delivery and counterculture vibe fit the part perfectly. Carlin agreed, and his performance added a sly, cool edge to the film. What started as a bit of casting luck became one of the movie's most beloved elements. Rufus just wouldn't be the same without him.
Gentlemen, we're history.
Number 8. The Time Machine was originally a van. The iconic phone booth in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure wasn't always part of the plan. In the earliest drafts of the script, Bill and Ted were supposed to travel through time in a van, more like a tricked-out ride than a sci-fi gadget. But when the filmmakers realized it felt too similar to Back to the Future and its famous DeLorean, they went looking for another idea. They eventually settled on a phone booth, which gave the movie its own quirky identity. The choice ended up being perfect, not only making the film stand apart, but also adding an extra layer of absurd humor. After all, nothing screams excellent adventure quite like two slackers crammed into a time-traveling phone box.
Dude, where are we going? I don't know. I think the boost broke. We gotta keep going, Sandy.
Number 9. A Nintendo fan owns the original phone booth. The time-traveling phone booth from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is one of the most recognizable props of the 1980s. After filming wrapped, though, it didn't end up in a studio warehouse or museum. It went to a private collector. As it turns out, the booth was purchased by someone with a very different passion, Nintendo. A devoted video game fan reportedly bought and preserved the original prop, making it part of their personal collection. It's a quirky fate for such an iconic piece of movie history, but somehow fitting for a film as oddball as Bill and Ted. Instead of gathering dust, the booth lives on as a prized possession in the hands of a pop culture superfan.
Gotta get back to our report. Yeah, we take you with us, but...
Number 10. The script was written in 4 days, by hand. The origins of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure were as scrappy as the characters themselves. In 1984, writers Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson sat down in a couple of local coffee shops and hammered out the first draft in just 4 days. They didn't use typewriters or early computers. Instead, they wrote everything by hand on lined notepaper, scribbling dialogue and ideas as fast as they came. Those rough handwritten pages became the blueprint for one of the most beloved comedies of the decade. Years later, some of those original notes were included in the 2005 DVD box set Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Collection, giving fans a peek at the raw beginnings of their excellent adventure.
You killed Ted, you medieval dickweed!
Number 12. Bill and Ted almost went straight to TV. While Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is now remembered as a big screen classic, its journey to theaters wasn't guaranteed. At one point, studio executives considered skipping a theatrical release altogether and reworking the project into a made-for-TV movie. The idea came up because the film's goofy tone and low budget made some nervous about its box office potential. Thankfully, Orion Pictures decided to take the gamble on a theatrical run instead. The film went on to become a sleeper hit, grossing over $40 million and launching a franchise that included 2 sequels, a cartoon, and even comic books. Had it gone the TV route, Bill and Ted might never have achieved their excellent place in pop culture.
Rufus, what are you doing in the here and now?
Number 13. Bill and Ted had their own cereal. In the late 1980s, Bill and Ted weren't just movie stars, they became part of Saturday morning culture. Alongside the animated series Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, there was even a breakfast tie-in, Bill and Ted's Excellent Cereal. Marketed as a most awesome breakfast adventure, the cereal was a short-lived product that let kids literally start their day with Bill and Ted. The box featured cartoon versions of the duo, and the cereal itself was colorful and sugary, like most licensed cereals of the time. While it didn't last long on shelves, it's become a nostalgic collectible for fans who remember the strange moment when you could quite literally eat Bill and Ted for breakfast.
You try it. Eat the whole bowl, man.
Yeah.
Eat the whole bowl, and we just gonna talk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's another couple bowls back there.
Number 14. Bill and Ted returned after more than 30 years. For decades, fans wondered if Bill and Ted would ever take another excellent adventure. Rumors of a third film started swirling in the 2000s, and by 2011, Alex Winter confirmed on Twitter that a script had been completed and he was preparing to read it. Keanu Reeves also expressed interest, telling The Today Show in 2013 that he was open to the idea. Reeves joked that it would be surreal to play Ted in his 50s, but added that the world can always use some life and joy, which Bill and Ted still represented. After years of speculation, the long-awaited threequel finally became a reality with Bill and Ted Face the Music in 2020, reuniting the duo more than 30 years later.
Bill, we've spent our whole life trying to write the song that will unite the world.
Number 15. Bill and Ted's adventures expanded beyond film. The world of Bill and Ted didn't stop with Excellent Adventure and its 1991 sequel, Bogus Journey. The duo quickly jumped into other forms of media. In 1990, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures debuted as an animated series with Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin all voicing their original characters for its first season. The cartoon was later rebooted as a live-action TV show in 1992, though without the original cast, and it only lasted 7 episodes. That same year, Marvel Comics released Bill and Ted's Excellent Comic Book, written by Evan Dorkin, which carried on their wild time travel stories in print. While not all of these spin-offs lasted, they proved that Bill and Ted had become true pop culture icons.
Bill? I think I got an idea what's wrong.
Number 16. Teachers had mixed feelings about Bill and Ted. Alex Winter once shared that his role as Bill brought him some unusual fan mail from schools. According to Winter, he often received letters from teachers, but they weren't all positive. History teachers loved the movie, praising it for sparking students' interest in historical figures and making lessons more engaging. On the flip side, English teachers weren't as thrilled. Many complained that the characters' laid-back slang and quirky speech patterns influenced the way their students talked in class. Winter joked that the divide was pretty consistent. History teachers thanked Bill and Ted, while English teachers wished the duo had never picked up a guitar. Either way, the characters clearly left a lasting mark on classrooms.
So, Bill, what you're telling me, essentially, is that Napoleon was a short, dead.
Number 18. The original plot was much darker. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is remembered as a light-hearted romp through history, but the earliest version of the script was far darker. Originally, the story was going to follow Bill and Ted as they blundered their way into some of history's greatest disasters. Among the ideas on the table were the duo accidentally causing the sinking of the Titanic and even sparking the Hindenburg disaster. Writers Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson quickly realized the concept was too grim for the goofy tone they envisioned. The focus shifted instead to Bill and Ted gathering historical figures to help them pass their history class. It's hard to imagine the film as a dark comedy of accidental tragedies. The lighter approach was definitely the excellent choice.
Come on, Ted. We've got some historical figures to rescue.
Number 19. Dude and Excellent rule the script. Few movies are as closely tied to catchphrases as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The characters' laid-back surfer slang became instantly quotable, and fans still shout them today. According to tallies, the word dude is spoken around 70 times throughout the film, while excellent pops up about 30 times. The repetition turned both words into cultural staples of the late 80s and early 90s, forever linked to Bill and Ted. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter delivered the lines with such earnest charm that what might have sounded silly in other hands became iconic. For many fans, Dude and Excellent sum up the entire spirit of the film in just 2 words.
Check it out. We're in the middle of a war, dude.
Number 20. The German dub became a cult phenomenon. In Germany, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure took on a whole new life thanks to its quirky dub. The translators didn't just adapt the dialogue, they reinvented it in ways that gave the film cult status. The German version is credited with coining slang that slipped into everyday language, including Hoshi for dude and Greneten Stark for excellent. Even the famous line, "Be excellent to each other," was transformed into something far more philosophical.
It's your mom, dude.
Colorful and excellent is the being. Several catchphrases from the dub became so widely quoted that they're still remembered decades later. One of the most famous is Volakan Hoshi, which roughly translates to totally awesome dude. The German team also added or altered whole chunks of dialogue. In the scene where Bill and Ted meet their future selves, they ask, "If you guys are really us."
Who are you guys? We're you, dude. No way.
Of which famous toothpick, celebrity, are we thinking right now? Their future selves respond with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Another addition came in the castle scene, where Ted tells a joke that doesn't exist in any version of the original. For German fans, this wild dub made Bill and Ted's Adventure even more excellent. And that's 20 weird facts about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Thank you, Santimus High!
From improv roots and casting surprises to the Death Box phone booth, the story behind the film is just as wild as what made it to the screen. If you had an excellent time, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment on which movie we should cover next.